Hi, this is Hunter with Spirit Journeys. I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk with you about why most spiritual practice doesn't work, and a few things that seem to make spiritual practice really work for us. I spent 25 years working with indigenous elders and mystics from many of the great traditions all over the world, and I've had a chance to do a lot of spiritual practice that didn't work. And I found a few things that really made practice work in my life. First, I want to talk about the word spirituality. That the spirit is not something invisible or intangible, something that we can't perceive or feel. That when something is truly spiritual for us, it brings us alive, it connects us with our world. There's a sense of profound joy and presence in that. That spiritual practice is designed to bring us alive here in this world. And if our spiritual practice isn't, if it's limiting our aliveness, then our spiritual practice isn't working. The second word I want to talk about is the word practice. That many of us have an idea that spiritual practice is about achieving some kind of perfection. The truth is, I've known many masters and many elders and incredible healers from around the world, and none of them, not one, had achieved perfection. That spiritual practice is about practice. It is about embodying the values, embodying the feelings, embodying those things that inspire us and bring us alive. It has nothing to do with achieving any kind of perfection. We are always in practice, and we will always be in practice. So in that sense, true spiritual practice has no goal other than the practice itself. A few things I've noticed about how we tend to approach spiritual practice is we often do them to be good. We're trying to be good in some way, and we think being good will bring us alive. But being good doesn't seem to bring us alive. It just holds up an image of perfection that we spend our whole lives trying to live up to. Also, many of us look for spiritual answers outside of ourselves, from teachers, from gurus, from books, as I have many here right behind me, or from spiritual objects or ceremonies. And that doesn't seem to work really well either. Many of us also spend a lot of time trying to do spiritual work on our own, by ourselves, as some sort of proof that we're worthy, that we're lovable, that we deserve joy in our lives. And if spiritual practice is done to prove anything at all, it doesn't really serve us. Also, a lot of spiritual practice tends to take us away from our bodies into some imagined transcendent realm where we don't have the suffering that is a part of the world that we're in. And spiritual practice, in my experience, doesn't take us away from our suffering. It actually takes us right to our suffering to teach us new ways of being with that. So I want to talk about a few things that make spiritual practice work. And one is that spiritual practice is about joy. That spiritual practice is about right now, in the action I'm taking, whatever the practice is joyful for me. It's not leading to joy someday in some other world, but right here and right now. Spiritual practice, truly spiritual practice, takes me back to myself, to discover the sources of wisdom and guidance and love and strength within myself, and also takes me back to those things I pushed in the shadows and made wrong. So I can bring them back out of the shadows, and I can hold them in a way in my life and draw upon their gifts, their strengths, to hold those parts of myself in love again. The other thing I found is that truly spiritual practice always connects us. It connects us with ourselves, it connects us with each other, it connects us with our world. It is deeply communal, even when I'm sitting here in solitude, in meditation, or breath work, or mantra work, or art work, whatever my practice is. It deepens my experience of being a part of the world and being connected to the world. And finally, spiritual practice is about this body here in this world, not escaping into some other reality, but becoming more of who I am right here. honoring this body, honoring this life, taking care of who I am and what I am, and listening to the profound signals that my body is always sending me. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about specific practices or how to transform your own spiritual practice, please go to hunterflournoy.com or to spiritjourneys.com, which has retreats and journeys all over the world that give you a chance to really dive deep into these kind of practices that will give you the guidance and the strength and the wisdom that we need to deal with a world that is changing very rapidly. Thank you, and have a wonderful time practicing.